the world. Greetings from Dhaka, Bangladesh. We just had our first show today, and this is the second show today, when we are going to talk about the events that happened during the week from 6th of February to 10th of February. So the first thing is that this week, the most tragic thing that happened was in Turkey. And in Turkey, this catastrophic Turkey and in Syria, the catastrophic earthquake. We in Bangladesh, when we read about it, the first thing that comes to our mind is that we get scared about Bangladesh, about Dhaka and Chittagong in particular, because we in Bangladesh are um, situated on and around some fault lines. Because you see, in Bangladesh, on our west is the Indian tectonic plate, on the east is the Burmese tectonic plate, and on the north is the Tibetan tectonic plate. And so we are in the confluence in the where these three tectonic plates have met. We are there and around it. So Bangladesh in Dhaka, I don't know whether you know it or not. Dhaka is a city of 22 million people, and it has an area of only 300 square kilometers. So in every square kilometers, the population is about 34,000. In Turkey, many of the houses had collapsed like pancakes. And why? Because they think that they are finding a thing there. That these did not have the seismic reinforcement that was necessary. Otherwise, the building should be at least partially stable and partially built. In Dhaka, I tell you, I think most of the houses, I am so afraid for their, I don't think they are suitable. Then we have another complicating factor. In Dhaka, a lot of this area was actually lowland, low-lying water, this marsh area. And this marsh area has been filled up. And I think if God forbid, I pray to God that we do not have this earthquake in Bangladesh. Because there is a chance we are on a risky area. And our government is completely helpless. I mean, because of their incompetence. Because what happens is when an authoritarian government runs the show, everything becomes the edge wears off. They become blunt because being blunt is easy to do. That's what pays. So in our country, the first responders have almost no respect. They are neglected. So I am really concerned, and I hope that we will take that. This is how we in Bangladesh are looking at the earthquake in Turkey. The second thing, the topic I want to talk about is something happened in our neighboring country, India, and but which affects us a lot. The Gautam Adani Enterprise debacle, you must know about it. I don't want to go into it. This has been the news worldwide for the last 7, 8 days. what I wanted to say is that this is connected with Bangladesh. Washington Post has done a news that Bangladesh had given them a very, very um, attractive, one-sided, give them an agreement. How? According to this agreement, which a copy is 163-page agreement, nobody in Bangladesh has it, but Washington Post does. And according to that, there is no price ceiling for the coal. Adani Enterprises can ask any price, and Bangladesh has to pay. The other thing is that the electricity that could be charged by the Adani Enterprises is much higher than in other, electricity power suppliers are providing. Now, power supply in Bangladesh is a totally rigged game, and I don't want to go in there now because we have. I'll go a bit. I think I should. But before that, let's continue with Mr. Adani. In Bangladesh, 2009, when this government came, they had done an indemnity law, according to which nobody can sue the government on account of their agreements with power suppliers. Then they had their very favored business people. They became the power suppliers. And we have a installed capacity of, I think, over 22,000 megawatt now. But we, even if we cannot run them, even if we don't use their electricity, we have to pay their capacity charge. And in our country, every year we have been, I think, paying around around $700 million to $1 billion every year as capacity charge to these plans, which we didn't need, but which the government entered. I think that this is one way to change money, to transfer money from one hand to another. So in that context, we have to see Adani Enterprises. In this on this issue, Mr. Rahul Gandhi of Congress, the leader of the opposition, if I'm not mistaken, he had on 7th of February, on Tuesday, he had raised this question that what was, Mr. Narendra Modi's role in getting the Adani Enterprise this one-sided, very lucrative deal. By the way, if we do not buy one unit from Adani Enterprises, we will have to pay $450 million, as far as I know, the capacity charge. And by the way, we have signed an agreement with IMF because we don't have any more dollars, or almost none, that we get what, we get $450 million every 6 months. So you understand, the imbalance that we are going through. Yes, this Adani Enterprises are asking for the coal for $400 ton, which is 60% more, because Bangladesh pays 250 for others. And this was the news this week. Bangladesh Power Development Board had asked Adani Enterprises to reduce the price from $400 to $250. And the last news is that Adani Enterprise has refused. And why? Because according to agreement, they don't have to abide by, abide by any request from Bangladesh. In the meantime, our energy advisor, Mr. Tawfiq-Alahi Chaudhry, Dr. Tawfiq-Alahi Chaudhry, who is actually number 2 in energy management after our Prime Minister, he refused to say anything about Bangladesh government's discussion with Adani Enterprises. So I think this is another instance of our government, Sheikh Hasina, had following Narendra Modi um, against, I would say, the national interest. And we can see by this one agreement that how national interest was not um, upheld by the present government, which remains in spite of the rigged election. As a matter of fact, I want to tell you this, that this this proposal or this thought of doing this program actually was triggered by these Indian programs on social media and television, which are some of them I'm talking about on the social media, they are liberal Indian media, and they are, uh, supporting and uncritically this present government of Sheikh Hasina. Whereas this government, this authoritarian, as a matter of fact, I might even call that with many fascistic tendencies, they are oppressing our people. And this, I think, Indian policy has, if it needs to be prudent, then it should cut its losses, and it should. It may consider, I'm not nobody to say sure, but they may consider of thinking that, when the people of Bangladesh was fighting the war, liberation war, the Indians on our side and the US was not. And the people of Bangladesh won because of, I would say, by the grace of God. And I think this time, in our war of or struggle for getting our political rights back, to get a democracy back, in that struggle, if United States is on our side, on the side of the people, of the peasants, the Bengali Muslim peasants of Bangladesh, and if it engage on the other side, I think Bangladesh people will win again. I hope that the Indian establishment in Delhi and the Indian literati, the Indian thinkers think about it. Because we are not communal people. We are not communal. I think the communalism is practiced even by Awami League and even by other big political parties for political reasons. Our people are so simple, hardworking. I mean, when was the biggest exodus of Bengali Hindus from Bangladesh? I'm sorry to say, but it was in 71, and they couldn't come back in 72. I think they are the ones who are in Assam. And they couldn't come back, and who was in power in 1970? We will move to the next topic on the state of our judiciary, and we have a book fair coming up, I think, from 21st February, and which is 21st February is the International Mother Languages Day. In that day, in 1952, students and general people died in order to for pressing their demand for the status of national language of Bangla in Pakistan. And that was perhaps the beginning of our open confrontation with the Pakistani authorities, which will culminate in 1971. Due to that 21st February's struggle in 1952, in 1954, Bangla Academy was established, and the role of Bangla Academy would have been to to promote and to guide the development of the language of Bangla. So this Bangla Academy now conducts a book fair, which starts from 21st February, I think, for 1 month or so. And in this book fair, they have banned one publisher named Ideal Publishers. In Bengali, we say Adarsha Prakashani. Adarsha means ideal. And they have, because of 3 books, I would like to read these 3 books out to you. One is Development Confusion by Zia Hassan. This is my translation because these are in Bengali, Bangla. So another one is by Faiz Ahmed Tayyab. His book is Fantastical Rhetoric of Irresistible Development. And then the 3rd book is In Search of Mediocrity by Faham Abdul Salam. Now, the High Court has passed order on 8th February, that is on Wednesday, and according to which these Ideal Publishers will not show these 3 books, and they should get the stock. I mean, the High Court has ordered the Bangla Academy to give them the stock. My point is that why these 3 books will not be allowed? Because especially, let me talk to you about the book by Mr. Zia Hassan and Mr. Faiz Ahmed Tayyab. These 2 are serious books on economics of Bangladesh, as far as I know. And they are taking a critical view. This is our view too, that the Prime Minister thinks that shiny objects make development. Shiny buildings, shiny roads, shiny bridges. But this is a facade. In this country, from this country, every year, about $6 to $7 billion have been siphoned out every year. This country runs on the toil of the working class. We have about 10, 11 million young men and men of very low skill to all these Middle Eastern countries and Malaysia, and many of them are in Europe and also in America. Many of them had drowned in the Mediterranean, also in the Bay of Bengal. We do not know how many. These are the men, and nowadays also increasingly women, that go out and earn the dollars that fuel this country's consumption. And again, with that, we have our factory workers, the factory workers who produce the apparel for the world. And then we have the agriculture. In this 55,000 square miles, we almost feed our 170 million people. We do import some, but we do. This is the main drivers. And in that, we have our authoritarian government, which has a huge government, which increased its expenditure, I think, by 5 times between 2010 and 2022, in 12 years, without any war, without any insurgency, without any PIP. We have a white elephant on top of us. So our economy, and right now we are suffering. Right now we don't have we have foreign exchange shortage, crush. We will have the azan going at this time. Please don't mind it. We will continue. Even if we listen to it, that's fine too. But the countries economy which is being, you know, I will give you a line which it comes to me from a book written by Levitsky and Zindblad, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's like How Democracies Fall. There it is written that when government has police and the court, and then they have the then they can have the mass media. Once they just subjugate the mass media, they have the country. So um, bad loans, corruption, rampant corruption, and dollar flight. This is what has happened. All these dollars are in different countries. So we will talk about them later on. And now Bangladesh is in a crunch for dollars. Um, so context, in that context, these books are actually a breath of fresh air. But this is not being allowed, and I think that also says that our how much our freedom of thought is being upheld by our court. I would like to say two more things just quickly, or two more because I have to, because it is, I have just showed you, I want to tell you about a lady named Delawara Begum. On 3rd February, uh, she had died. Delawara Begum, because we were talking about garments, and these are the girls who earn our, uh, earn our exports with their toil. She was a garment factory worker. Then she left the job. She went to Muktagacha, which is north of here in Dhaka, in Mymensingh, and she became a tea stall owner. There was another tea stall owner named Alfaz. They had a relationship. Alfaz promised marriage, but then later reneged. Now, Delawara, she wanted to sue, I think, Alphas for fraud and and ancillary whatever the charges. But the local political leaders, they, you know, they resolved that they will that Alphas, I think, will pay them 160,000 taka, roughly $1,500, and then they took the $500 themselves, and they gave $1,000. They sent it to Delawara with a distant relative of Delawara, because Delawara's representatives were not there in that meeting. So the local leaders did it that way. So they took 500, gave $1,000 to Delawara. When the local local ward president of the ruling party, he came to know about this, that Delaware has gotten $1,000. He came and he took another $500 from him. And Delaware, who was absolutely distressed, humiliated, felt disrespected, dishonored, she couldn't take it anymore. And as a final act of revolt, she went to Alfaz's house and drank poison in front of them. And then she lost consciousness. I think there were some people around, they dumped her body, which she was alive, but they dumped her body in the bazaar. From the bazaar, some people took her to Mymensingh Medical College, and on 3rd of February, she succumbed to her injuries. And I know, I'm just telling you because nothing will happen out of this. So I'm not saying that this is another story I want to tell everyone, that this is how politics has been played in our grassroots for the last 50 years. And this has to stop too. And finally, because we started with Adani, Bangladesh is giving $450 million capacity charge, even if they don't buy one unit. On 8th February, Wednesday, Mr. Ariful Islam, young man, and he is from Maheshpur in Janeda, which is west, close to the border. He and 4 or 5 of his friends, they went on the other side. There is a Omarpur village, and when they were in the ground, the main ground of Omarpur, the border security force started shooting at them, and Ariful was shot and died on the spot, and his friends fled. This has been confirmed by the 58th Bangladesh Border Guard commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Pervez. He confirmed that he had contacted the Border Security Force of India, but they didn't receive any confirmation until the report was being written. But you see, as I said, they shot at him from a distance without telling him to stop. And you know, when you look at all those cases I will tell you one thing. When Ariful and his friends, when they were going to the other side of the border, it looks like that it was not a reckless thing. It was a common thing. Why would these 4 or 5 young men will go if it was risky? It doesn't look like it was risky. This is the way it goes, and I think this was a random that the border security force has saw them, and then they fired from a distance. Bangladesh-India border, which is from India, has given totally barbed wire. It is one of the most violent borders, like deaths for Bangladeshi people, boys and girls. It has come down, but it's still going on. And I thought that this is we would talk about Ariful when we are talking about Adani. And finally, I have got a final one thing to say, that on the same day, I think on 8th February, 7th or 8th, 9 embassies in Bangladesh have gotten together to form Media Freedom Coalition Diplomatic Network. The countries are US, UK, Canada, Denmark, Germany, Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, and Switzerland. I would like to tell our audience members or listeners, if you are from one of those countries, I would like to say thanks to you, because we do appreciate that they would be monitoring the freedom of media, freedom of expression in this country, because we are endangered right here. I will tell you that so with that, I would like to end this program here. Goodbye, and God bless you.